going to talk a little bit about manifestation. And of course, manifestation, the existential manifestation, when we talk about this is a non-dual quality in a way, a non-dual position. It is what it is. And then, when there is a contraction on it is what it is, when it is what it is not good enough or better or whatever, when there is a contraction on this manifestation, when we have a feeling that we are not free to manifest ourselves as we are, then partly what's happening is that we kind of, have the tendency to negate what we think is not affirmed.
I don't understand.
Good. I hope, no, I'm joking, that we have to negate. We kind of, do as if it doesn't exist what is not affirmed.
What do you mean by what is not affirmed?
What is rejected, what is not affirmed, which is not seen, is not accepted. Yeah, from the outside authority. My sentence was not totally finished yet. It's okay. So, of course, we talked a lot about this in healing courses. This whole kind of dance, the dance in which we give others authority, kind of, to affirm or reject, in a way, or negate parts which are inside ourselves. But
negate in het Nederlands.
But negate is much stronger as rejection. Negation. Negation means it doesn't exist, it never existed, it's not allowed to be at all. It's not allowed to manifest at all. It's the most cruel thing, basically, we can do. It's more cruel even as rejection towards ourselves or towards others. It's like when you want to negate something, you want to take it out of life at all, out of existence at all. It doesn't exist. It never existed. It never was. And so when you look to this act of negation, so the first thing is we cannot really do it. We can do as if it's not real. When you look to the laws of the universe, basically, almost everything is possible, but we cannot undo. And negation is in a way undoing things. We try to undo. And we try to undo inside ourselves, and we try to do towards others. There is this need, which is much bigger as only our need. This need of affirmation. And partly when you look into the need of affirmation, this is not new what I'm going to tell, but still, let's build it up slowly. So, we learn to speak, to communicate, to adjust ourselves to our social environment through affirmation. Affirmation works much better as rejection, works much better as negation. Negation is a different order, I come to this, but still affirmation, when you look to it, affirmation is to affirm in the depth the existence or the manifestation of a person, but that can also be how a person makes a sound. So, when we start to learn to speak, we make sounds as a baby, and at a certain moment, by accident, the baby says Papa. They always say Papa first. Daddy is kind of, I don't know why people call Papa Daddy, because how can a baby say Daddy? It's unfair. Papa is the first thing. So when a baby makes this sound, what you see is that the father of this baby get really excited and really happy. Or if the mother is there and the baby says mama or mommy or whatever, and this sound comes forward, the mother gets really excited. This is a big affirmation. It's understood. And this excitement, this affirmation that it's understood, gives us a deep feeling of satisfaction, of fulfillment. A deep feeling of success. You know, and so we try to make other sounds, and at a certain moment, you know, out of the blue we get a cookie. Wow! We said the word cookie. It worked. Affirmed. You know, and so this is how we learn. Also socially, you reach out, you know, you say something to somebody, and the other person is affirming in kind of reacting in a positive way on what you're saying or what you're doing. Maybe the person is saying thank you when you give the person, you know, a very yummy ginger butter cake. Thank you.
I'm only for affirming it.
Yeah, but you know, this is part of ego structure. Because this affirmation that you do something for another person and the other person is really enjoying it, and then we say, okay, this is very Dutch, you know, to say, okay, it's not necessary. I just yes, don't be so happy. You know, don't thank me. It's too much. You know, but part of it is such a joy when somebody is sharing gratitude with you. It's such a strong affirmation of your own manifestation, and this feeling of success that you did something and another person is happy with it. This is a big drive. This is important. Through this we find shape. We shape ourselves. So this is a really important, and the feeling by itself is a very beautiful feeling when you look into it. It's that's the feeling of success. It's the feeling, you know, of fulfillment, of satisfaction. All these positive feelings, you know. If you have these positive feelings a lot, we are happy people. We feel successful. It gives a lot of self-confidence. And in a way, this is all what we want. Because this is what we kind of are moving towards. We all want to be kind of, you know, in a position where people are appreciating us. And that is not something to be negative about. Because appreciation is important. Affirmation is important. The difficulty is when we grow up, you know, when we try to do things and try to do things the right way, you know, we get affirmed. And in this period, we really need the outer authority to help us. We need the outer authority to tell us, to teach us what is the right way. So the affirmation we are getting is really helpful. The affirmation on our manifestation, the affirmation on whatever we manifest is helpful. You understand? Because through this we learn. And as long as we're learning, we need an authority. Whenever we're learning, we need a teacher. We need an authority if we want to learn a new craft or want to learn new things. We need somebody to tell us if we understand it right or we don't understand it right. And in this, you give the teacher the authority. But then when we come to, you know, deeper levels of manifestation, and then we move slowly to existential manifestation. And what is existential manifestation? So existential manifestation again is much more, it is what it is. It's very close to, manifesting your own existence. And again, when you look here, then here affirmation in the way of giving another the authority to say if it's right or wrong, that's more difficult. This is where we humans get a little bit crazy. The piss is going into our heads. Of course, it's absolutely great to affirm certain behavior. And again, we all know that if affirmation works better as rejection, and negation is out of the question even there in this area. But if there is a rejection, then often what's happening is that the person who is rejected starts to negate himself, certain parts of himself. Never happened, is not allowed, shall not be there, must die. Especially when it's a strong rejection. And especially when the rejection is colored with judgment of the other person and labeled to be bad or to be destructive or not allowed to be there or harmful to others. So when we bring up our children and we want to help them to build themselves, it's really more helpful to affirm good behavior and to not reject bad behavior, but kind of help them by telling this would be more successful, and if still the bad behavior go on, to kind of ignore it. And that's not negating. Just this is giving you the prize. Because again, affirmation is something we all need. So when we look to this affirmation, so of course as human beings we affirm each other. And what exactly is the essence of affirmation?
Being allowed to exist.
Being seen. Yeah, I see.
Be seen, being allowed to exist. But again, then we being allowed to exist, we give the authority to the others. That's how we get it.
You share. Connection. Share.
Already when a person is conscious of how you manifest, there is an affirmation in the consciousness of the other. The other is seeing you. The other is witnessing something. If we have an unconditional way of affirming, just by being conscious of it, by being seen. I remember when, I think it was Dodo, was very small, and she kind of, would play around, and then she would say, Ima, ook, ook, ook. Means, Mommy, look, look, look. Just being looked at. You understand? Being witnessed. To share your manifestation, to share your existence, is something which is absolutely, totally natural to ourselves. Why do you think that flowers are beautiful?
To attract birds.
Because we perceive them as beautiful. They just are what they are. So what makes us to perceive a flower as beautiful?
our own way of thinking, perceiving.
It's beauty seeing beauty.
It's beauty seeing beauty. And what kind of beauty is a flower touching inside of ourselves?
The pureness, natural.
Or in a rainbow in shape and in color.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe
So
that's
pets
very
are
personal.
also like more.
Yeah.
Pets
Yeah.
are vulnerable.
Vulnerable
And
and
beautiful
beautiful at the same time. It's very personal. It's touching something sometimes, not always. Sometimes we are not touched by flowers at all. It's very personal. So it is touching something in which we recognize beauty. And maybe because of the color, maybe because of the form, maybe because of the vulnerability. But it's touching beauty. And it's a part of nature. So when we kind of, it's touching beauty inside of us, what's happening? There's an opening up. There's an opening up of the heart. So when there is this opening up of the heart, when beauty is touched, there is a connection, there is an affirmation. This is the same thing the child is asking for. Ima uk. Mommy, look. It's the same affirmation. It's the same affirmation in which the heart opens and the manifestation is affirmed. And if you look more deeply to it, you know, basically, we are part of existence. The flower is part of existence. It's part of creation. The planet is part of creation. So, could it be that creation is affirming itself through us? That, you know, part of, because if we talk about, you know, manifestation of life, manifestation of form, unconditional manifestation. This is an inner core or existential manifestation. This is an inner core quality. Every inner core qualities are unconditional. So there is an unconditional manifestation. And this unconditional manifestation is witnessed. And could it be that the universe is witnessing itself through everything which is alive? You know, yesterday Georgi talked about the black hole. You know, the black hole information is moving inside, and then there is this kind of on the horizon, this ejection of light coming out of it. But could it be that, you know, that we are all part of this kind of black hole in our consciousness, in a way affirming? If you look what is behind your consciousness, it's not, you know, of course when you look into consciousness, it's I see you. But the I who's seeing you is also seen. And also this is seen. So couldn't it be that creation itself is witnessing itself through everything which is alive? And in this, in a way, affirming itself in a very subtle way. But basically, when you look, witnessing is enough. If it's seen, it's enough. And the strange thing, if something is seen, the manifestation gets stronger. If we feel that we are seen, we more strongly manifest. And if a tree is seen, the manifestation becomes stronger.
Because it also works the other way around.
In what way?
That our manifestation is seen big.
Yeah.
You say, I don't remember your words, but is it possible to that manifestation is nou wat je net zei.
In Nederlands anders.
In Nederlands?
No, is it possible that through us the manifestation, we can see the manifestation? So the other way around.
Yeah, what you mean is also creation is manifesting itself through us.
Yeah, that's what you say. But I see the other way around too.
And creation is affirming itself, its own manifestation through us. Both.
Okay.
If something isn't seen, is it manifested at all?
That's the question of consciousness.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, does it exist if it's not seen? Yeah. This is interesting. We come to that. Because now we're moving into the area of negation.
Yeah, the painful.
What?
The painful.
Yeah, the painful area. So we are still in the area of manifestation and in the area of not even affirmation, but being seen, which is neutral. It's neither good or bad.
But being seen is not only dependent on us.
No,
This consciousness is not only dependent on us.
absolutely.
Maybe it's always, there is a bigger consciousness for what's together with manifestation.
I think when in this universe is something is manifesting, it's manifested with consciousness.
It's inherent.
It's the only way to reflect itself.
Exactly.
So it's the only way to look upon itself
Exactly.
as existing.
Exactly. So there is no existence possible without consciousness, I think. Yeah.
Not that it is not dependent anymore if
No.
it has been seen or not.
It is always conscious of itself.
Sees itself.
Yeah. Otherwise it doesn't exist, isn't it?
In a way. But that's then I'm very small. I'm very humble in this because it's a big issue in what you are telling about manifestation consciousness.
Yeah, it's a big issue, but it's important
And
to
it is
understand
nice.
it. You know, so there is this confusion about how we learn, about the existential manifestation which just is and is witnessed by itself and is witnessed maybe also by the environment. The more it's witnessed by the environment, the stronger the manifestation becomes. You know, if we look at a person as being beautiful and the person feels that you look at them as being beautiful, the beauty in the person, this non-dual quality is manifested more strongly. We can feel the difference between something which is loved and something which is not loved. Something which is loved, the whole area of love is manifesting more strongly.
But love in itself is already a manifestation because
It's already a manifestation of a form.
Most of the
So-
times we only think of manifestation when it's taking shape or time or space. But manifestation goes beyond that.
Absolutely. Also, love is a form.
Yeah.
even consciousness is a form.
Just a couple of things about that affirmation, witnessing. So one interesting dynamic I was just thinking about is where you have attention-seeking behavior, criminal behavior. So is that some sort of cry out for witnessing of some sort?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit, I don't know, it's an aberrance of some sort. It's a, something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
But it's deep down, it's that,
Yeah.
the quest for.
It's basically, we all do it as children. We try to get attention, and then we don't get attention, and then we are a little bit mischievous.
Eating cookies.
And then we see if we get attention then. And often this is successful. Often we get more attention if we are a little bit mischievous, or we kind of bothersome, we make too much noise, or we kind of make a mess. We get more attention as when we kind of, are behaving in a more positive way. So it's a learning curve. So we learn that if we are destructive, we're more seen. So if we are in pain, that we are not enough seen, or we're not seen at all, sometimes what's happening is that we kind of express very destructive, as a cry for help, because we are not seen in our anguish or our despair or whatever. At least a lot of shootings which are happening in the States are coming from this, I think, together with personality which is deeply traumatized. It's often kind of a psychopathic personality disorder, or a narcissistic personality disorder. But the narcissist, all children are narcissists in a way. So, it's all about me. So to grow up beyond it, something is necessary for this. So when this doesn't happen, a person is wounded. So it's partly, when you look, all of this has this connection with form, the form we take with our existential manifestation, to say it like this, with affirmation and negation. Now, I've been talking a lot about, basically beyond affirmation and negation, because witnessing is not affirming nor negating. You understand? That's different.
Could you repeat that one more time?
Witnessing in itself is an affirmation, but it's also beyond affirming or negating in a way, because it's unconditional in its form. When we talk about affirmation, we talk about something else, if we compare it with negation. So now we're going to look to negation, because that's important. It's not allowed to exist, it never existed. It is quite a force. So, what would happen if we bring negation in? It's stronger as rejection. It's more cruel. What would happen? What does negation do?
In relation to manifestation?
Yes?
Go back.
It cuts out parts of us.
Well, yeah. It literally cuts out parts of us. And we are cutting out parts of ourselves. So, what would happen if you cut out a part of yourself and you see it in another?
Negate it.
You have to negate it.
You cannot see it.
And on this level.
But do you see it really?
What?
Do you really see it? if something is negated in me,
Yeah.
do I really see it in the other if I check it out?
If it's totally, completely negated, it's dead like a doornail, you don't see it, it's a blind spot.
Because when it's irritating, I'm seeing it.
No, when it's irritating, that means it's not totally negated, there is some life in it still. So basically you were not successful. Yeah, you didn't negate it completely.
It takes out movement.
Movement, development. It is. I think that the very beautiful set is it's literally cutting out parts of yourself. So it's important to understand that this negation is reactive to the world around. If it's totally cut out, probably you will not recognize it, but still it's happening. And when it's happening, it has to be cut out of society as well. You know, say that you negate all anger inside yourself. You're not allowed to be angry anymore.
Why do you take that?
So, and another person is angry. So there will be a strong movement from you to try to negate the other person's anger. Am I right or not?
Yeah. You go there, give a hug, oh, it's all okay.
That's one way, but basically, you know.
Sweet. I will just completely ignore them. You don't exist.
Exactly. Ignore and don't exist. Cut off. Not affirm. Doesn't exist. Humiliate. Reject. Negate.
And when you're fearful of this person, is that a form of negation or is that an unsuccessful form?
So what are you fearful of?
I can be fearful of someone bursting out in a rage.
In rage. What are you fearful of?
Of being negated, actually. Being, it feels like I'm going to die.
Yeah. So that's being negated. When
Yeah.
somebody else is showing violence, you get fearful because you could be negated. Yeah. And is the other one negating you, or are you negating yourself?
I think I'm negating myself then by
I think so.
process.
You wouldn't be able to, perceive an emotion unless you bring it into yourself.
Exactly.
Isn't it? So
That's part of it. But it's often, that the negation by itself is already happened inside ourselves. And certain behavior of others is reminding us of it.
Yeah.
And now we come to Georgi's story, it's beautiful to build it up more slowly, because that gives a deeper understanding, because it's negated inside ourselves, for whatever reason. But to understand, the only person who can negate anything inside yourself is yourself. Even if the whole world is saying, you are so bad because you are blowing your nose. So you negate blowing your nose. you understand? Still, you are the one who has to negate as a reaction on. This is important to understand, because all the time we're looking to others. It's others who are doing it to us. But it's not really the others are maybe rejecting, maybe expressing negation. It's not allowed to be there. It never happened. It shouldn't be there. But this is not really even, if it happens and it happened. To negate it, you need yourself to really negate it. You understand? It's not allowed. It will not be there anymore. The only way we can negate others is by killing them off. But even then, the memory of the person, that the person was alive, it's impossible. We cannot really negate. We can do as if we negate. But we can do as if we negate, and we need ourselves for this. And to negate something inside yourself, what do you need?
Personality.
What?
Energy.
Of course you need energy for it. What do you need to negate something inside yourself? It's not allowed to be there.
A cover up.
You need the affirmation. You need the affirmation from the outside.
You need the information from the outside, from the inside.
The affirmation of the outside of the negation. I'm sure there is something you really negated inside yourself. You suppressed. I'm sure there's something. It's not allowed to be there. So, it's not allowed to be there. So, do we need the affirmation from outside that it's not there in us?
Yes, otherwise it can't be seen.
Exactly. So, we try not to be violent. So we try to kind of negate all violence which is inside ourselves, and we become the most peaceful person in the world.
Can I ask something?
And then go further.
So then what is important that we are affirmed as non-violent in the manifestation of this form in which we negated violence. So what would happen if people still would kind of affirm us as violent?
Or you will scare everybody away.
You will hit them.
Exactly, we will negate them.
Or it can go inside.
Or it can go inside.
Then you did the job well.
Yeah, so you have to negate your violence more.
Yeah.
So
But
basically,
to affirm the behavior, what is not, the affirming goes to the behavior what's not non-violent. De affirmatie gaat niet naar de negation. The affirmation doesn't go to
goes to the cover-up of what is created. Yes, exactly.
Do you mean that negation is always does always need to be in relationship?
There always needs to be a relationship between negation and affirmation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but also
It's two sides of the
between
same
people
medal.
or
Yeah, between
outside,
people.
Inside,
Outside, inside, what you show, what's going on inside. And then, what happens? You know, you're really, really, really angry to kill inside, because nobody is really seeing you. And outside you adjust and you're very peaceful and patient.
You burn up inside.
Yeah, self-destruction.
Negation doesn't exist. It's not allowed to exist, but still it exists. So we cannot completely... What is happening?
You get depressed.
You can get depressed. What is happening is that it escapes us because of the other person is so borderless, is beeping when driving. We will hit him.
yeah.
Because the other says words which are absolutely forbidden or is dressed scarcely. There will be a reason.
And the mind comes in.
You cannot contain it.
And you don't take any responsibility for it.
No, because it's negated. It's not. You understand? It just happens. Or we show little bits here and there, and on the little bits we get rejected. You understand?
It leaks
Even if
out.
it totally overtakes us, we say, I wasn't myself.
Exactly.
But you can literally feel it like a scheur.
Yeah. It's like, so, you know, it's the nice guy who kind of explodes and is abusive. And what will he say afterwards? This never happened.
I don't remember.
This never happened. This never happened.
Oh, that's bad.
Get it out of your head. This never happened.
So we try to fool ourselves, we try to fool everyone around.
We do it with ourselves as well. We say this never happened.
We rewrite this
want-
history.
We rewrite history. We rewrite what happens. We rewrite manifestation. We do as if it never happened.
But you always have to be a little bit alert when you do things like this, you know, because you can never really relax, because you know that maybe this monster will release. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can never relax. Life is very unsafe. Because life is full with bastards which make you violent. You have to be very careful. So you see there's a whole interaction between what we negate inside ourselves and the outer world. In a way, you know, in which the outer world is reacting to what we negate inside ourselves. It's reacting, it's testing us. You understand? It's pushing. It's pushing. And why? You know, when we have this part of us which is cut out, whatever part it is, it's cut out. You know, it's like an emptiness, but not in a kind of an emptiness, like an empty black hole. It sucks. It sucks energy towards it. And it sucks energy towards it. If we have a difficulty with violence and we cut out violence, then it sucks violence towards us. It's like a vortex. That's the word I was looking for. It kind of... It draws violence out of other people because there is a lack of violence. There is a lack of border. There is a lack of fear. There is a lack of anger.
Because of restore the balance.
To restore the balance.
Is this the law of attraction?
This is the law of, it happens by itself, it's the law, as part of the law of attraction. It happens by itself. And this is really important to understand, that in this we are of service to each other's process. In a very unconscious and cruel way. So what happens to a person who's rejecting? This is not good, that's not right.
He is rejected too.
Exactly. We throw rejection at this person. What's happening when a person is angry? Person is walking here through the biotop and he's fucking hell, fuck you, fuck this, fuck that. How do we react on this person?
It's abusive.
It's abusive. What?
We call an ambulance.
We withdraw, we do not give that person our love. We like...
How do you feel about such a person? What does it evoke inside yourself?
Yes.
What? Rage. He's disturbing the peace. We want to negate him. Get away. Get an ambulance. Lock it up.
We are
Reject. What? We are meditating here. We're taking care of the peace of the planet. It's a holy job. So kill it off.
We are busy with negation and you show it.
No, but can you feel the rage which is there towards this kind of behavior? There is a rage there.
Yeah.
You get angry. You understand?
Yeah.
So anger is provoking anger. Fear is provoking fear.
But it's also a resonance of energy.
Absolutely, there's also a resonance. It's like, and especially when something is negated, it's easy to dump it with a person.
And what's the difference then when it's resonating and you get angry as well? Is that negation?
That's a resonation. No, it's what is the negating factor is in it that the right of the other person to be angry is totally negated. He's got no right, and because the other is angry, we have the right to be angry.
So we negate them, but not.
You see the
ourselves.
whole thing
Same
of
emotion.
negation and affirmation going on. It's a whole game. It's when you think about it, it's complex and quite crazy. It's like ping pong. You do this, I do that, and because you do this, I'm doing this, and because of that, I have to negate you in this.
But mostly there's individuals who act something, and then there's a whole mass. There's one, oh, you're doing this, and there's coming people and people. Huh?
That's possible. It's not mostly happily, but it happens sometimes that we have this mass.
Ideas about it, there's a mass, huh?
When it's
This
in a
individual
newspaper,
there-
we have our opinion and we talk with each other in the shops
Whoa,
about
whoa, whoa.
it, and we,
Yeah.
I know what I would do to him.
That's a lynch.
That's a lynch. That's a form of negation, isn't it?
Because of negation, you can't blend.
The areas where there is negation, there cannot be a real togetherness there. You understand? But we still want to blend. There is this natural behind it, this natural manifestation, moving with the non-dual, witnessing and togetherness, and you feel where it's not possible to come together. So we are reactive to that as well. Absolutely. And when we push in the wrong way, doors close more and more and more and more and more. And when we push in the wrong way, the feeling is there that whatever is there which cannot blend is negated. And so that kind of spreads itself. You recognize what I'm talking about? So, to go back, the only one who really can negate things is yourself. Nothing can be negated without your own affirmation of the negation. Yeah? So that means the only one who's able to undo negation is yourself.
And that's so easy to say. No, but it's true.
It is, yeah, it is easy to say, but it's very difficult because we are so much in a mind that we give others responsibility over it.
Belief structures.
Yeah, belief structures, it's because of others. It's because of, and so others have to heal it as well. Others have to affirm it. And why? Because if we would affirm it and it would show and others would see it and they would reject it again, that would be too painful. Then we were wrong. It's fear there as well. You recognize what I'm talking about? So what is important is that we are reactive to what persons are negating inside themselves and also from what we negated inside ourselves. We're reactive to it. So we have we have the tendency to feed a person exactly with that what is negated. If you negated your right to put borders, the people around you will move over borders. They will abuse you till the end of the day. If you are able very well to put borders, and this is something you can manifest as an existential manifestation of your own borders, you almost never have to put a border.
Can you say that again?
If there is an existential manifestation of your ability to put borders, you almost never have to put a border. You know, it's in your manifestation, it's clear. People don't fuck with you. I'm maybe saying not in the best of English, but they bloody don't fuck with you. They keep your borders. You understand? There is some people you know you can push over a border. And there are some people you know you cannot push over a border. So, the danger in talking about this, because this is really important to understand, you know, we're talking about natural manifestation. So our existential manifestation is in a process. It's developing all the time. It's not perfect. And it's absolutely perfect and okay at the same time. But, you know, it's a development. There is a development. It's a whole process of manifesting ourselves. And part is the learning process I talked about. You know, we need teachers. How to manifest this, how to manifest that, how to kind of give form to it. You understand? Even language. So that means that, you know, this whole movement of and now we're talking more about, you know, affirmation and rejection, but affirmation is an important movement. Negation is something which is happening. It's part of giving form. But we shouldn't, I think, negate as it is in the word itself already, the way we are negating. This is based on fear. And we really cut out parts of ourselves. And the difficulty is that the world are reacting to this. The world is reacting to this, to the cut out parts, but also to the parts we don't cut out, but get out of balance because other parts are cut out.
Can I ask something?
Yeah?
Because somehow it seems that instead of negate it in yourself, you affirm it in yourself. In a way, maybe that's not true, but like if there's anger outside towards you, you don't shoot the anger out, but you get anger in with yourself, angry with yourself. I don't know.
It's the inside out. So often what we negate, not allowed to be outside, it's negated, never was, never will be, is not allowed to be there. Inside it's still there somewhere.
Yeah. But you try to affirm it to be angry at yourself, or to,
yeah,
instead of
angry at the world around yourself. It's yeah.
So you affirm it in yourself.
No, what is happening is that anger is arising by something, and then this anger is expressed against yourself, that you're angry again. Or that you're fearful again. Or because anger is a form of fear, it's an expression of fear. So we can also use the anger to kind of, you know, towards ourselves that we are fearful again, that we're insecure again. Whatever is provoking the anger. Mostly we are angry with anger. We are fearful of fear. There has been a decision kind of not to go there. Too much, too difficult at that moment, doesn't fit in your daily life. Who could you go to? whatever. We make decisions. It's not that it happens by itself. No, this is what the whole SE is based on. That in a natural way it would unload itself. We would go into shaking, we would go into crying, something would be there to unload the nervous system. So there has been a decision for us not to let the nervous system unload. This is important to understand, because otherwise, there's nothing we could do about it. So it's not that we are the how do you say, the victims of our nerve system. It's that we don't take care of our nerve system as it needs to be taken care of because of social shit. I'm very, very clear. Because we are too sensitive, we shouldn't make such a case of it. Because of negation of parts of ourselves already, that is cut out. And that's okay, this is how we are formed. I'm not judgmental about it, but it's important to understand that, if you have a sensitive nerve system, and a lot of us have, you have to take good care of yourself. If things are coming in very deeply, you need more peace. Yeah. So the softest way, because that's how we started off, is I think of negation in a positive way is not right now. We don't give form to it right now. And the hardest form of negation, but then you're not talking about negation.
Exactly.
No,
What's the
when you
hardest form
say
of negation?
Never happened.
Okay.
Doesn't exist. Is not there. And that's when we create trauma inside ourselves. But it happened. So we never get totally rid of it. But it never happened. This is the hardest form of negation.